Hello everybody. Today we will see activity life cycle in Android. In Android, an activity is referred to as one screen in an application. It is a very similar to a single window of any desktop application. An Android app consists of one or more screens or activities. Each activity goes through various stages or life cycles as and is managed by activity tags. So when a new activity starts, the previous one remains below it. There are four main stages in the activity. If an activity is in foreground of a screen that is at the top of the stack, then it is said to be active or running. This is usually the activity that the user is currently interacting with. If the activity has lost focus and a non full size or transparent activity has force focused on top of your activity, in such case, either activity has a higher position in multi window mode or activity itself is not focusable in the current window mode. Such activity is completely alive. The third scenario is if an activity is completely hidden by another activity. It is stopped or hidden. It still retains all the information as its window is hidden. Thus, it will often be killed by the system when memory is needed somewhere else. The system can destroy the activity from memory by either asking it to finish or simply killing its process. When it is displayed again to the user, it must be completely restarted and restored to its previous state. So, for each four stage, Android provides us with a set of seven methods. These seven methods you can see on the screen, okay, that have their own significance for each stage in the life cycle. Okay, so this image is shows a path of migration when an app switches from one state to another state. Okay, so on create method, it is called when the activity is first created. This is where all the static work is done, like creating views, binding data to list, etc. This method also provides bundle containing its previous frozen state if there is any. Okay. Then comes on start method. It is invoked when the activity is visible to the user. It is followed by on resume method. If the activity is invoked from the background, it is also invoked after on create method when the activity is first started. Okay. The next is on restart. So on restart, it is invoked after the activity has been stopped and prior to its starting stage, right? Starting stage. And thus is always followed by on start method when an activity is revived from background to on screen. On resume. It invokes when it is invoked when the activity starts interacting with the user. At this point, the activity is at the top of the activity stack where user is interacting with, always followed by on pause method when the activity goes into the background or is closed by the user. Then comes on pause. It is invoked when an activity is going into background but not yet been killed. It is counterpart to on present. When an activity is launched in front of another activity, this callback will be invoked on the top activity currently on screen. The activity under the activity will not be created until the activity is pause returns. So it is recommended that heavy processing should not be done in this part of the method. Next is on stop. It is invoked when the activity is not visible to the user. It is followed by on restart. Okay, over here. When the activity is invoked from the background, followed by on destroy method when the activity is closed or finished, and nothing when the activity remains on the background only. So note that this method may never be called in low memory situation where the system does not have enough memory to keep the activity process running after it's on pause method. Okay, and the last one is destroy. On destroy method, it is finally called before the activity is destroyed. So this can happen either because the activity is finishing or because the system is temporarily destroying this instance of the activity to save the space. Okay, so this is the activity life cycle that is followed by Android systems. Okay, thank you.